Last session we talked a little bit about just whatever was on your mind. A bit about your family, a bit about your life situation, more getting things off your chest than really anything too big. And you were a bit unsure about what you wanted to discuss today. Do you have any ideas?
I do. I have some stuff going on um, at work a little bit that I just like the opportunity to talk through, and it's not really anything that can change or anything, but
That's okay.
bothering me more than anything.
That's more than okay. Some things you just gotta be patient about, but it's more than good to get something off your chest if it's bugging you, even if it doesn't have an immediate solution.
Yep. So I have backstory. Been with my company a little over 11 years.
Hmm.
I've been doing my position for, oh goodness, over 50, well, it'd probably be closer to 17, 18 years now, maybe longer. I don't know. Um, so I have kind of honestly been in this, what I'm going to call a rut, stationary position for a long, long time. And even with my current company, because it's been 11 years. So, um, I do property management. So I'm a manager of, apartment complexes. So I run one luxury community downtown Houston, and that's what I've been doing for a long time. But always looked for growth to be able to grow and go to the next level, which would be more taking on multiple properties or regional type level.
Hmm.
Um, there hasn't been a whole lot of growth in Houston. If anything, I guess our company has shrunk a little in Houston, so it's made it quite difficult for me to do that. Um, Especially in my company. I love my company. They take such good care of their people and they're really good. So I don't want to leave my company, even though I know I could. And I've had many job offers to leave
Hmm.
and go ahead and promote and do what I want to do. But the uncertainty of doing that, knowing that I'm leaving something that is so good and such a good company, I've never been willing to do that. The more I think about it. So I always end up turning it down, hoping for something within my company. Um, so as of recently, we're nationwide, so we have communities all over the United States. Um, there was a coworker of mine that was the same level as me. He had been with the company a couple years less than me, but still had a high tenure with the company and everything. He uh, did promote and moved to Denver, which I'm proud of him. I love him to pieces. He has a lifestyle that is, it's just him. He doesn't have a family or anything, so he can move. Um, that opportunity would also been available to me, except it's not because of my lifestyle. I have a family. I have roots. I have, a kid still in grade school, and so moving is not as much of an option for me. It did hurt a little, obviously, to be, I felt more tenured, more given, even though I knew I couldn't do it. That he got the opportunity over me, even though I could have never done it anyway. So
Hmm.
that was kind of part of, like I said, I can't change it, and there's nothing I could have done anyway. I couldn't have moved to Denver. So, but it kind of brings feelings to the surface that, yeah, it's been a long time and this is something I really do want, but it's not happening um, right now. So
No,
I
it's more
feel
than okay.
a certain way about that. And that's part one, I guess. But yeah, and then there's times I look at it in another sense, like, yeah, not only could I not move to Denver because I can't, and that wouldn't even be feasible for my family right now, but also, I day to day, my job is fairly easy and I'm paid well to do what I do. So that would present new challenges, not only moving, but the, you know, change of role. So maybe I wouldn't have the freedom that I do now. So I try to be thankful still that I am where I am. Because there's so much going on in my personal life that I do have the freedom and the time and the ability right now where I may not if I were to promote it tomorrow. You know, it may take up a lot more of my time.
No, that's completely understandable. So, going into like more or less the feelings of, I guess, not being given the role, even though you do understand that you never would have been able to take it. Um, would you say it's like almost like feeling a bit unappreciated? Like you've been here for so long and they're not acknowledging everything that you've done or everything
Correct.
you are
Almost
doing.
like, and they're really good about appreciating me. So I know my value in the company, and that's not anything I've ever questioned, but it almost felt overlooked, I guess, or um it bothers me sometimes and makes me wonder. I am really good in my position, and there's a lot of reasons why if I were my boss or I was a higher up, I would want to keep me right where I'm at because it's
Mhm.
where they'd have to find that replacement. Our owners that I deal with daily, I have a incredible relationship with. I've known them for over 10 years. So there's certain things that if I was a higher up and I looked at it, I would want to keep me where I'm at. I train a lot of the new hires that are brought into the company through Zoom on a weekly basis. So I do a lot that contributes. So I could see as a company standpoint why they may also want to keep me where I am. But that also makes me feel like, is that holding me back because I am good at my job? So it's almost putting me in a box and keeping me where I'm at. And
Of
I'm being
course.
overlooked for other things, you know. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about things, but
No, that's completely understandable. And honestly, I think in situations like this, you don't really need to look at it from a company viewpoint. Currently, right now, like you can recognize that you are very good at your job and you're in this position. And I wouldn't say it's entirely on you because if you weren't good at your job, you wouldn't be there. But at the same time, if you do think that your position is holding you back, is there anyone you could talk to maybe get a broader view on this?
I did get quite upset last week. Just with some changes because with my coworker leaving for Denver, it opened up another position at another property, which I didn't want. It wouldn't have paid anymore. You know, it didn't seem
Yeah.
like it would have been pretty lateral of a move. So I didn't take it. And then yeah, a lot went down last week, but I did reach out to my boss and wrote everything down in email that I was feeling. We have a good relationship. I love that we have a good relationship and can discuss things. So I feel like I can go to him and say, this is how I'm feeling. I have had other offers, but I don't want to leave Simpson. You know, I want to stay and I love this company. I just wanted him to know where I was at. Um, he was he immediately called me, and was very understanding, and said he totally understood how I was feeling and that I didn't want to feel like I was kind of stuck in a role or being kept in a role. Um, he did reiterate my value and, you know, his appreciation. I mean, at the end of the conversation, I think I felt better. I can't say it was all great and dandy because but I know in his power, what he is, you know, what is in his power, he was very understanding and would fight for me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's not always just up to him and he has bosses and so on and so on. But at least I felt heard. He knows where I'm at with everything, where maybe he didn't before. So I'm glad I did that. And I didn't just hold it in because I'm terrible about that too. Um, because I don't want to come across as unappreciative of my job by any means, but I wanted him to know if I was feeling a certain way. And so it backfired, unfortunately, a little bit. I think he meant well. But after the call, and I got more work, not more money, but more work. And now I am training 7 new people.
Nice.
I think it, I think he did it in the sense of giving me something to make me feel more, I don't know, needed, I guess. And I didn't need that part of it, I don't think as much. I always felt the value in the company, but maybe this is a little step to something more, or maybe he's seeing how I react to doing this and how well I do it for future opportunities. I don't know. And I try to look at that a little bit too, as to, I don't think he's just giving me work to stay busy.
Of
I think
course.
he's trying to see how I handle it, how I would handle it, because the next role would be managing a lot more people and a lot more properties. So it's very similar, maybe, and
Mhm.
kind of giving me a little of a trial run, you would say, or something. So I try to look at it that way, but it's still hard sometimes to be patient, which I know I need to learn to do. Especially when you're seeing other people grow
Mhm.
around you. And those are the people you trained from the beginning that are growing above you. So that's a little bit harder. It's just a hard pill to swallow a little bit.
Of course. And so earlier you mentioned being given some of these better opportunities and turning them down to stay at your company. Would you say that like it's a loyalty thing, or maybe you like don't want to leave those that you've been with for so long? Because if you're feeling unappreciated, or perhaps a little dismissed, then do you think that maybe sometimes you might want to look into these job opportunities a little more and consider them a little bit more for your future?
I really do look into him. I really put a lot of thought into him. I think it comes down to a lot of things, honestly, why I end up always staying. One are the relationships I've built. Yes. The people in my life, I mean, they've all become like family. I know everyone in my company nationally, and I know that, I can call them for help and or this or that. That's one. Simpson has always been very loyal to me, in all my ups and downs in my personal life, very understanding, always willing, even when my mom was sick and on hospice, they let me work by her bedside and paid me. I didn't go to work for over a month. I was with her. You know, that's very appreciated from me. So I know they value me as a person, not just
Mhm.
like a number, I guess, or employee. And then, but also I've put in 11 years, and the idea of starting all that over with relationships, starting to make my name again from scratch it's a lot. It's a lot of work. I've done 11 years of it, which is why I do have a good name with this company, and I have, you know, proved myself. And if you go to another company, even some of the companies or people I've worked with, people are in that company that I've worked with in the past, but they haven't worked with me in 11 years.
Mhm.
So a lot's changed. So even going to a company I know one person or two people at, I still have to make that name and start. It'd be like starting all over again. And I'm not sure I want to do all that. And then it's all new systems, and it's all, it changes everything. So I think I wouldn't have the life I have today, where I do my job, I do it very well, very efficiently. I can have that freedom. If I go to a new company, I'm going to be so busy just learning and trying to prove myself that my freedom to spend time with my family or be able to, if something important happens and I don't want to miss it, take off or this or that. I've also gained tenure with the amount of time off I get, because the longer you're with the company, the more you get. There's a lot with it. And so when I do sit down and I put it to paper and I look into, yeah, they may give me this, but this is my pros and cons always lean right back to my company. So
what I'm getting here is a little bit of almost verbal discrepancies. So you're discussing a bit about how this company has like treated you so well and done so much for you, but at the same time you're feeling very stuck in a box. So I think that perhaps it's almost a little biased in your decision making, which it always will be. It's completely understandable. But it's almost to the point where you're discussing how well this company treats you, and yet you're feeling very dismissed. And when you try to discuss that, you're not getting anywhere with it.
I'm not, I really appreciate the conversation I had with him. I am glad he knows now what I'm feeling. Decisions aren't made overnight. I know that there is going to be some decisions coming down the pipeline in the 1st of January for the new year, because my boss actually got promoted again. Good for him. But so somebody will need to go to that role. I don't know. He oversees Houston, Dallas, and Austin. So I don't know if that's an opportunity for me, that I can do that and still and travel to Dallas on occasion and do things. It may be, maybe that's part of what, maybe I'm just being extremely impatient. And then, not that I haven't wanted to promote, but with my coworker promoting, I think it just sparked something under me. It was like, wait, my turn. Hold on. Here I am. Like it raised a bigger interest for me that maybe wasn't there, only because he did it.
Mhm.
And it wasn't, it's always been there for me, but it wasn't as right here in my brain as it is now that he did get promoted. And so now it's like, I'm thinking about it more. I do think I need to have some patience. Things like this do take time, and the company's ever changing. So I
Mhm.
do think my time will come. Even where I'm at personally, the one kid I do have at home has 4 years left of
Mhm.
school, and that's it. So who's to say in 5 years I couldn't do exactly what my coworker did somewhere? It could
That
happen
is
if
true.
it was something I really, really wanted, and I know that today I would have already had that opportunity if I would have had the ability
Mhm.
to do that. So I know it's not my skill set or my name with the company. It's just got to be good timing and the right opportunity for me at this moment.
I get what you're saying, and it sounds a little bit I think you're focusing I'm so sorry. Hmm,
Bless you.
it's okay. I think you're focusing a bit too much on other people and their view of you, their stance, their opinion. And I think honestly, you need to take a little bit more into account how you're feeling and less about how they are. Because, I mean, um, their decisions are very important, but it's always good to have your own in line. Oh my dear. It's
You don't.
always good to have um your own your own feelings in line and understand how you're feeling and being able to put that into words without taking external factors into account. Um, Especially in regards to like your viewpoint on things and understanding where you sit. After a while, it is good to sometimes look into perhaps look into why these people are doing what they're doing and the situation around you. But in the end, you are only you. Sorry. You are only you. And so I don't think it's completely necessary for you right now to be looking into everyone else and what they're feeling and how they're looking at you to make these decisions. Um, because overall, it should be your best interests at heart. And it will definitely be very difficult, perhaps looking and watching other people who you started off and who you trained and who you basically extended the stick of growth to um, exceed where you're at and feeling very overlooked for it. Um, do you think there's anything that could be done that you could do? Anyone, I mean, perhaps anyone you could really talk to, well, aside from me, aside from me, um, to understand where you're feeling or any goals you can set, perhaps to display like, okay, I'm ready for this.
In February, which honestly is not even that far away now at this point, um, I have a big company, we call it retreat, but it's a national one where all of the big wigs are going to be there and whatnot. And I am close with a lot of them. I just are not in the same town with them. So I don't have that opportunity to really have that conversation in person. But I will in February. And it's going to be a good opportunity, I think, for me to talk to um, some of these people that I did grow up from the ground up, that we have great relationships and really have a good heart to heart talk
Mhm.
with at that time. So that is going to be one goal of mine is to put it out there because I think too a lot of people may not know how I feel, and I because I've
Yeah.
never really expressed it a lot, and so I think it's going to be important for me to start expressing that. Yeah, I might have been doing this all this time, but I'm ready for more. I want more. And they may think I'm completely satisfied where I'm at, so
Mhm.
I'm going to make it a point to let it be known that I'm
Mhm.
interested, for one, and keep working at. I've worked with my boss, and he's going to help me grow in areas that I know that I can personally grow in as well to even make that more of an option.
Of course. And it's entirely possible that people are viewing you as complacent with where you are simply because you are so focused on how everyone else is feeling that you're not voicing how you feel. And it is very important to always stand up for how you feel and voice your beliefs and make sure that almost you don't burn out emotionally. And you never want that to happen, especially if you love the company and the people that you're with. So I do think that voicing how you're feeling is a very big step. Letting other people know that you do want this and that you are ready, and showing that with your actions is always going to be a great step forward.
Like that. Yep, that's where I'm going to start now. Is voicing and even showing that I want it by trying to improve areas that I know I can improve. So
That's always a great step forward. So, I believe we're at the minute marker for around when the session will end. But just a brief recap. So everything we've discussed has been perhaps feeling unappreciated, unheard, and just essentially what we can do about it because it doesn't seem nearly as stagnant as you first stated when you said that there's nothing you can do. So I think it'll be great to start looking into things that you can do to improve your situation, um, people you can talk to, actions you can show, and so it's always great to create goals towards what you want to do. And and I guess I can just end it with it's always great to voice how you feel and what you want to say, and I'll always never be afraid to speak up for yourself because you're only you, and you should have your best interests at heart.
I appreciate it. You
Sorry,
feel well?
I'm not feeling well, but
Okay, you need to go rest now. But thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
of course, I've had a great time talking to you. So, in this upcoming next session, do you think that we can discuss perhaps what you've done moving forward and in the actions of creating those goals and realizing them?
Yes, yes.
Alrighty. Then I will see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.